Eddie, how you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing not too bad. We're struggling. We're back in the Wayne's World of cornhole, as we always called it. The
Yeah.
uh, the cornhole dungeon. I've got the wood paneling is gone. We've replaced it with some drapes, but yeah, we kind of fancied it up for you coming on the show.
That's awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So like I said, I've got some stuff to talk about. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I know for you, you got like everybody else, you got started in that backyard. You've actually been playing a lot longer than some of the other. I'm not going to say some of the other pros, but you've been going for like almost 8-9 years now.
Yeah, I've been playing about 9 years. When I first started the game, it wasn't anything like it is now. It was more just playing in the backyard or, small little tournaments with 10, 15 people. So it's definitely come a long ways.
Oh, for sure. So I know for us, we're still young, so we're still playing with the guys that we started out with. Are you still kind of hanging with your, I guess we'll call them the cornhole crew, I guess, that you started in the backyard with?
No, I'm not. I play locally with him. His name's Kenneth Johnson. He's actually lives right down the road from where I live. He actually introduced me to the game. We play locally and we play throughout the state of Texas every once in a while. I currently am playing with Caleb Batson. He's first year pro going into it. Great player. Lives pretty close to me as well. We're about 35 minutes from each other, so it's going to be a great experience.
Cool. So I know that that you had your first experience down with kind of on the bigger level in Cherokee in 2018, which was our same big time experience. So I set off in this lead up there that we are asking some cornhole trivia. Do you know who was the first Canadian guy to play against a Canadian player on the ACL Facebook page?
No, I don't remember who he is.
Okay, well, I've got some video here that you may be able to recognize this guy. That it was. You can see Jamie Cowan there played against Mr. Eddie Grinderslev back in 2018. We'll play a bit of this here as we're talking because quite honestly, it didn't last long. Okay, you guys, and as I say, you always got to give a plug to the opening acts, just like music. And that guy put on a 30-minute performance before you took down Jamie in about 3 minutes here.
Yeah, I was throwing pretty well that game. I wish I could have kept that momentum. I think a lot of that was just unexperienced on a bigger stage and a bigger format. Before playing that, I'm actually a 3-time state champion here in Texas, so I felt pretty comfortable. It was just a different experience playing guys at my level all the way around, or a little better than me. So that I kind of used that experience to fuel my first season, 2019 season, which I did really well in as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you can see, you look like you did start it off really comfortably with throwing up a 10 in the first end that gave me there. Because we joked because for the longest time, before we could kind of get the video back to find out who he was that he played, we thought your name was just Good Game because that's like we started it, we said Good Game, and that was it.
Yeah, that's not the first time I've heard that, but I know you guys have come a long way up there. I've definitely got a chance to watch a couple of you guys play last year at the championship. Y'all had a whole crew down there. I saw y'all battle. What was that? Australia. Y'all played Australia. I was able to watch. I was able to watch a couple of those games, which was really cool. And I know y'all got some players coming around. We were pretty excited to see what happens with our neighbors up north.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, you're now up in that game. You're up 14-0. You actually went on to win 21-0 over Jamie. So we can say that you did kind of skunk him, and then he was able to get points on Adam Hisner and Cody Henderson after that. So if he can do that, if you can keep him down to nothing and him score points on them, I think that's a big deal.
Hey, getting points on those guys too. That's an accomplishment as well. Those were some of the guys I was looking up to kind of see where basically judge myself was Adam. I didn't really know Cody. Adam had actually come down to Texas a few times, and we've actually played and battled each other, went back and forth. So I knew Adam a little bit before this. Both great guys, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've had Adam on the show before, and he was a great guy. So like I said, we'll take that off there now because I know Jamie gets upset when we bring that up about that game. But yeah, so then you had a good season after that because that was near the end of the 2018 season. The 2019 season wasn't that bad either.
No, so my 2019 year was my first year really playing a full ACL season. I ended up jumping into that. I finished rookie of the year and overall #1 ranked player of the year in 2019. So I had a pretty solid year. Played pretty consistently. Times I wanted to do better, but I'm pretty happy with how my first year went. I feel like it went the way it was supposed to go to set up this last season.
Yeah, and so we went into this last season where it's kind of a crazy season, the 2020 season, because we started off kind of gangbusters. ACL had a great event down in Florida, putting that momentum into Cleveland, and then all of a sudden just all hell broke loose in Cleveland there because I believe you were there for that there. You were going to be playing in that there.
Yeah, well? I was on my way to Cleveland, and as soon as my plane landed, it was about 11 o'clock at night. They canceled everything. As soon as Trey Ryder was actually on my plane, so we saw him getting off, shaking his head. So when we saw that, we knew it was coming.
Yeah, I was with Matt Plow, our Canada conference director, and we were about a half hour outside of Cleveland when we got that news, and we're like, do we turn around and make it home at like 5 in the morning, or do we just keep going on and then just go home in the morning? Which I'm glad we did keep going and just stay the night there because he had some bags, some octane bags to deliver to the ACL. So we were able to step foot down on the floor of where that event would have been, and I still wish that would have won because that event center was just massive for being underground.
I remember going. I actually had we ended up staying the night. We got a flight out midday the following day, but I was able to walk down and kind of check out the whole center. It was really it was a wild sight seeing all those boards, but I knew how big the event was going to be. It was obviously going to be the largest one to date, and it was a shame that had to be canceled.
Yeah. So then that gets canceled. We get shut down for a bit, and then the open start, and you really kind of took charge of that open down in Houston.
Yeah, I was able to pull off a singles championship win down in Galveston. I ended up having to beat my partner Dave Sutton in the championships. So that was a great experience all the way around. We would have liked to have gotten doubles, but Jay Rubin and Lester Price were red hot that day, and I don't think anybody was going to beat them. Go ahead.
I think the doubles was first, was it not?
Yes.
So they kind of took you in doubles, and then for me, your game against Sutton was really good, but that defining moment for me was that game against Jay Rubin. And
yeah.
I know how I feel about when I have to play against some of our good players up here, but to see and just rely on data to miss that airmail drag, especially the way he was throwing that day. I've seen you with the hands on the head, looks like you didn't even want to look at him throwing that bag.
No. So I actually had known Dave was, or not Dave, but Jay was red hot. And we both play a lot alike. We can both throw a lot of bags in the hole. And I had a feeling it was going to come down to who was going to start blocking and start making shots happen. And I believe he ended up putting a block up on me, and I backed it up. And then I know I had one in, and I shot a pretty much a dumb airmail for my third bag, and then had to hit a fourth bag airmail to basically stay alive. And he I think he ended up having one off and then had to do an airmail drag to wash the round out to go into sudden death. And yeah, I didn't want that bag in his hand because he's so great on those shots. He's so consistent. You don't want to have Jay have that last bag. That last bag he's killer on. He usually hits those shots.
Well, exactly, and it looked like it did kind of pick that bag just a little bit, but it just stuck there, and it was like wow, like even he was shocked, but it was just, I think that was just a great game, and that showed that, with those short 10-end games, you almost play like a crew cup singly with the 10 ends, that points always count in that thing where you really it's more of a chess game, I'm gonna say.
It is. It is. It's the way I look at it is you try to get that lead and you do everything you can to hold on to it. Players at the top are always going to get hot. It's just how long can you hold them off, hold on to that lead, and it goes back and forth. There was times I started off slower and was able to get hot and got the lead, but it's definitely different. It was also different having to step away, and then walk back. It was a slow-paced game, but the 10 rounds is very difficult.
Yeah. So did you have to adjust your game all that much for that having to step away?
I think going into this, knowing how it was going to be structured, I actually had practiced a lot, just kind of stepping away from the board prior to this event, stepping away, walking back, taking my time. Trey used to say I was just a gunslinger, throwing bags as quick as I could. Kind of being reckless. I was a really aggressive player, and kind of slowing things down, like just changed a couple of ways I play, and I think it actually benefited me. I'm more focused on shots. I don't take as risky shots like I used to. So it wasn't too much of an adjustment for me. I think it actually improved my level of play, being able to slow it down a little bit.
So I know, and we're going to get into the skill that you have with your other kind of cocky guys that you play with. But when I continue talking with them about this, but how do you think the game, the ghost cornhole game, people now doing deck rounds have kind of changed the game? Because I felt coming out of COVID when we started those opens, it looked like everybody was just still playing that ghost game, that just those deck rounds, just going. Everything was going the hole. There was no. Because I like mucking that board up, putting that blocker up, kind of trying to set something up. But when you're playing the ghost games, you're kind of, you're just playing with that open board all the time.
Yeah, I think ghost games came around at the perfect time. And it really, I believe that 4 or 5 months of COVID, I think some players got very good within that time frame of playing ghost games. My partner Caleb is one of them. He came out of nowhere and started playing those ghost games and became amazing. The problem with ghost games, like you said, there's really no strategy. You're throwing in the hole. Your goal is to, you're trying to beat ghost 10, ghost 9, ghost 8, and all you're trying to do is throw in the hole. So I would go out and mix things up. I would put bags in the front and just practice different shots. I'm also really fortunate enough to live really close to AJ and Josh as well. They're about 35, 40 minutes from me. So I'm able to go throw against some top level players just about anytime I want. And Caleb's right around in that area too. So we're able to really get together a little more often than everybody else was.
So speaking of those three guys with AJ, Josh, and Caleb, you guys have got kind of like your own Southwest show that you guys got going on. I've kind of for a couple of episodes. I like them because you guys are doing what I tried to do with this show in the summer, was do a live show. Have you guys are talking. I was trying to I'd have some guests on and just get people to ask questions, because I think that's always the thing is, you see people in all the Facebook groups asking questions, but they never get the chance to talk to those ACL pros to kind of pick their brains, kind of see how they play, what their thoughts. So, so you kind of maybe talk about the format of your show.
So we kind of came about Southwest Pro. The format of the show, we wanted to kind of do it as first off, we're really good friends. We wouldn't have done this if we weren't all pretty close. We wanted to give the viewers an opportunity to kind of see what we do as pros, what insight we could give to certain questions. You know, we play the game. We play at the top level, and we played in very big games as well. And we all kind of done different things. You know, AJ just made an incredible run at the championships, finishing third. You know, me finishing as a #1 ranked player in the country. Josh winning huge games. And Caleb's fresh and new, but he's going to have some big things that happen. He's an extremely well-known player here in Texas. We wanted to give a little bit of insight on how we go about things, and you know, just also show everybody else that hey, we're just 4 regular guys that like to get together and have a good time. Like I said, we're buddies before anything, so we kind of want to give insight on that.
And that thing you say, well, you know, just 4 buddies having a good time is that's what I love, because people usually just see you guys when you're playing, where you're in your zone, you kind of got that game face on. They don't see that guy away from the board, because you know, for the people that just watch you guys on ESPN or watch the ACL Facebook page where there's the games going on, they don't get to see all that stuff away from the boards. Where you know, my first big tournament down in Cherokee, I got to see that, where it's like, you know what, you could be hammered on the board with a guy, and as soon as that game is done, no matter if you're upset with him or not, you're over having a beer, and you're waiting for your next game.
No, exactly. You know, there's a lot of great players in this game, and you know, there's always somebody you're gonna turn around and they're basically gonna have your back. They're gonna dab you up and be like, "Hey, man, great game." That's something like that great that we have down here in Texas. You know, with us 4, we're always there on the sidelines for big games. We're pushing each other. Win or lose, we always have each other's back. So great group of guys down here. We push each other really hard.
You know, and then I guess, and like you said, with taking the questions, helping people out with stuff, that's another thing that people, I don't really understand until you go to a big event or go to an event with an ACL Pro, is that you guys are all so approachable. Just, you can go up, you can talk, you can ask about your shot, you can ask about, you know, how it's going. Because I always joke that Ryan Smith was trying to help me with my game as he was beating me 21. Right, but it's, you know, it's that thing where you guys are all approachable, and people just shouldn't be afraid to ask questions.
No, we always try to help out up and coming players. You know, we all play in smaller little tournaments around the area, and any advice we can give, we always try to give. At the end of the day, we want our group to be as strong as possible, so we're always trying to help players out.
Yeah. So. I'm going to ask, because I know we've got one of our boys coming. I like you guys talked about it on your last show. One of our Octane boys is coming down to take you guys on in PJ Sorrow. So who should we see as his competition down there in the Southwest Division?
Like who he's going to be playing against,
or maybe just some of the names that you know, because a lot of the people up here, we follow the Octane players, and he's going from the Northeast to the Southwest. He's going like total cross country. But what are the names that we can maybe see him possibly going up against, besides yourself, Josh, Caleb, and AJ?
So PJ actually lives pretty close to us. I mean, he's only maybe 40 minutes from me. So he's going to be going up against a lot of the Houston guys. You know, Jaime Sanchez is really good in Houston. Not a pro, just kind of started playing. I think he could become one if he really set his mind to. Guy named Trey down there is really good. we got a ton of different players down here. He's obviously been playing down in 979 with Josh and AJ. I know he played last night. I think he got third in his I think it was a random draw tournament. Plenty of guys to play around here. I believe he's going to go to our conference next weekend, so he'll be playing with all of us now.
So yeah, hopefully he'll be able to do what Mike Ferreira and Hafiz Habibon did over in the southeast with when we went up against you guys with some of those new Octane Kinetic bags. I'm not sure if he throws the Kinetics or if he's still an Apex guy, but yeah, that's what's great for us to see, because we're now seeing guys moving on to other areas. We get to see new players. We're going to be able to get to see you playing more often because we'll be following him. But yeah, it's great to see it expand and those new players and come into a new area.
Yeah, I personally haven't got to hang out with PJ yet. This time of year is just kind of wild, and I know he officially just moved down. And I personally never really seen many octane bags. Nobody throws octane bags down here, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be trying to make a name for himself this coming up weekend at our conference.
Well, that's Matt Plow from Octane. Him and I were joking that he's going down in the heart of like Fiji country down there to throw some bags.
Yeah, we're all pretty set on BGs down here. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I think he's going to bring the heat and try to make a name for himself. He's in one of our group chats, and we give him a hard time, but we always say you got to kind of prove yourself when you come up here. So I think he's going to be trying to do that.
And I think that's the other fun part of cornhole, is being able to talk that trash, kind of give it to the new guys coming in, or even get some of your regular guys that you always play with, because it's I always joke, because we get some new players coming in, and there would be myself or Jamie Cowan or some of the other regular guys. The way we talk to each other, they're like, "Do you guys not like each other?" Just because we're trying to, we know how that other guy ticks and how trying to get him off his game.
No, we like you pretty much just said it perfect. We kind of give everybody a little hard time, but we know how pros can play. Like I said, anybody can get hot and throw great games. So, like I said, I hadn't personally got to hang out with PJ yet, so I'm excited to see him throw. I'm not sure if he's teaming up with one of the guys down here, local in the area, but it'll be a good time for sure.
Yeah. So we know you're an ACL Pro. So I want to ask you a question, because I kind of threw it around on one of my audio only kind of around the whole shows. Is there any rules that you would like to see or maybe changed with the ACL? Just kind of off the top of your head.
I think the jersey placement this year was a little tough. I think the way they kind of took away having our spots a little bigger than they were previous years, and also personal design on jerseys. I would have liked to see that stay the same, but things change, and I know they're trying to grow everything. So we'll see how it goes. Those are just some things we've talked about that would have been nice to have kept, just because everybody kind of had their own design on jerseys, and didn't really want to look like everybody else out there.
Mm-hmm. So I know one of the things that we kind of talked about was with the whole bag thing, where you have to have the 4 same bags, right? Where like, what if you had it like golf, and you had like a bag with you, where you can have it, you can pick your, say, 8 or 10 bags that are with you, that you can add, depending on your shot, you can change that bag up, as long as they all look exactly the same. They're the same color, same design on them, but they could, you could have like a double flick or a stick in the bag, just to be able to, I know I can throw this shot with this one. I think that would add so much, I don't want to say drama, but just more fast maybe into the game, because you're making those other moves, making, almost hit the golfer, I'm going to use a 9, or I'm going to use an 8, or,
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting. I've honestly really never thought about that too much. I think that would present its own challenges.
Well, yeah, it's one of our Canadian thoughts. So we're all the way out there anyway, right? So you talked about jerseys. And I know that you've got, I think you've got some patches out now, and you've got your
I do, yeah.
legs. So what's the sponsor that you have going for this year?
Obviously BG, we're all repping BG down here. Rich and Graham, great guys. They're all like, we're fortunate enough to have them pretty close to us, so we're in talks with them all the time. I also have Four Baggers Cornhole. They're the ones that make my patches, do an awesome job. They're rubberized patches and look great. I'm sponsored by Bob's Pickle Pops again, which was everybody probably saw through their bags in the Gusher, or not the Gusher, but the Galveston tournament. And then Austin Airmail is another one, and Texas Star Fire Systems is another one that I had returned. So some great sponsorships.
Well, exactly. You know what? And I want to thank you for coming on the show here. It's been a great guest, and people can look down below in the show info. I will have the links to Eddie's Facebook, ACL Pro page, links to some of his sponsors so you can go and check them out, as well as look for your Octane bags and your JC Cornhole boards. But Eddie, just great to have you on the show. Like I said, you were along. Like it took us a while to try and find you again to see who who Mr. Good Game was against Jamie. But yeah, it's because Jamie did joke. He was like, I shook his hand. He said, "Oh, I'm just fresh off the plane," and then he beat me 21-0. But and that's the fun thing about cornhole is that you can just show up and play.
Yeah. That was a tournament I was trying to make a little bit of a name for myself. I was just pretty new to the whole environment, but it was a great learning experience.
Exactly, yeah, and I think that's the thing for anyone who's watching. If you're not an ACL, or if you haven't been to an ACL event, go check one out. You're just going to watch, check out, join one in, because you could be like the guy had on the show a couple weeks ago, Louis Dupree, who 2 weeks after joining the ACL wins an intermediate tournament in actually an AAR tournament in North Carolina. So it truly is, anyone can play, anyone can win.
It definitely is.
So again, thank you very much for joining me, and check out the links down below for all Eddie's stuff, and hopefully we'll see you on TV soon, because ACL now just yesterday here, because we're putting this out on Friday. Just yesterday, you're going to be on CBS now and not just ESPN.
That's right. That's great news to have these different networks. So definitely, I'll be still working hard to make it back on there.
Yeah, and then hopefully we can get a big ACL event up here in Canada, and maybe we can see you come up, and maybe you can beat me 21-0 for Jamie.
Hey, I'd love to come up anytime.
Okay. So, again, thanks for this here, and for everyone else, keep checking out the sponsors, especially Eddie's sponsors. Like I said down below, OctaneCornhole.com. The Kinetic bags are now up for sale. You can get your hands on those, as well as all the other bags that Matt's got, as well as the swag. He's got shirts, hoodies, and I think if you were listening to the Doghouse show that we were on there this week, there's no boxers coming up. He's got some shorts and some track pants coming up, I think. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week on another Down and Back to CornDoug.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.